Imagine this. It's a warm summer afternoon. Sun's filtering through the leaves, maybe a nice gentle breeze, and someone brings out this dessert. Looks amazing, but it's light, not heavy. And the wine paired with it. Just perfect. Effortless, really. That's kind of the scene we're setting today for our deep dive.
Yeah, and today we're diving into a duo that really nails that feeling. Strawberry shortcake with Moscato dusty. It seems simple, right? But when you look closer, like our sources did, there's this really fascinating harmony going on.
Right, so our mission today is to figure out why. Why does this combo work so well? It feels familiar, sure, but there's something almost surprising about how good it is. We're going to dig into the specifics from our sources, find out what makes it that magic pairing.
Exactly. We want to give you a bit of a shortcut to understanding it, maybe some surprising facts, and definitely some practical tips you can actually use.
Okay, so let's unpack this. What is it, fundamentally, that makes strawberry shortcake and Moscato d'Asti just click? It feels so natural, but what's the actual culinary thinking behind it?
Well, what's really interesting is how the sources describe it as a perfect balance of textures and flavors.
Huh.
Think about it, that gentle fizz in the Moscato. It's not just bubbles for show. It actually cuts through the richness of the cream. And the wine's own fruitiness, it doesn't just sit there next to the strawberries. It sort of bumps up their natural sweetness,
Yeah.
especially if you've got really good in-season berries.
Ah, okay, so it kind of lifts everything up.
Precisely. One source specifically says the wine cleanses your palate between bites of creamy, berry-laden shortcake. It stops it feeling heavy.
So it's not like one is shouting over the other, it's more like they're helping each other out. That's cool, because sometimes with dessert pairings, one thing definitely takes over.
That's exactly the point. The sources emphasize that the pairing doesn't compete, but rather complement and expand the experience. Each part gets to shine. And a huge factor here is Moscato d'Asti's low alcohol. We're talking, what, usually 5–6%?
Yeah, very low.
Which keeps the whole thing feeling light and refreshing. You're not getting knocked out by the booze. Plus, there's that lovely natural honeyed sweetness in the wine itself that just, it works perfectly with the dessert. There's a great quote from one source. Strawberry shortcake with Moscato d'Asti is like summer in a glass and on a plate, light, sweet, and blissfully unfussy.
Blissfully unfussy. I like that. It really captures that effortless vibe we were talking about.
Totally.
Okay, that effortless elegance sounds amazing. But let's talk about the wine itself for a sec, because Moscato d'Asti is doing some heavy lifting here, maybe more than people realize. It often gets labeled as just, a simple, easy drinking wine.
It is approachable, absolutely, and
Yeah.
that's part of its charm. It comes from Italy's Piedmont region, and yeah, for a lot of people, it's their gentle introduction to dessert wines.
Right.
I think the main thing people sometimes mix up is confusing it with Asti Spumante. Moscato d'Asti is frizzante, which means lightly sparkling.
Okay, frizzante, so less intense bubbles.
Way less intense. It's a soft effervescence. The sources say it tickles rather than attacks the palate. So you're not getting that big champagne-style pop and fizz. It's much gentler.
That's a really useful distinction. Softer, more delicate. What about the actual taste and smell? What should you be looking for?
Well, aromatically, it's quite delicate. You get notes of peach, apricot, definitely orange blossom, sometimes hints of honey, maybe even a little sage, which is interesting.
Ouch, okay.
Yeah. And flavor-wise, yes, it leans sweet, but it's not usually cloying. And the reason is that the sweetness is balanced out by good acidity and those general bubbles. That balance is really the secret.
It almost sounds like its profile was specifically designed to go with strawberries and cream.
It really feels that way sometimes, doesn't it? That modest alcohol means it doesn't overwhelm the dessert. Its own fruit notes, stone fruit, honeysuckle, they just blend beautifully with fresh berries.
And the bubbles?
The bubbles. They provide that crucial textural contrast to the cream in the cake. Plus, the sweetness level is usually just right. It matches the dessert without making it a total sugar bomb.
Yeah.
It's perfect for warmer weather, obviously. And a big plus, it's usually pretty affordable, like $15 to $25 typically.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah, so it's something you can actually enjoy regularly without breaking the bank. Very accessible.
Okay, now let's switch gears to the dessert itself, the main event. Strawberry shortcake. You mentioned simplicity being important here.
Oh, hugely important. The sources really hammer this home. Use locally grown, in-season berries if you possibly can. The flavor, the aroma, it's just on another level.
Right. Freshness is key.
Absolutely. There's no substitute. And the classic recipe we looked at, it's pretty straightforward. American dessert makes about 8 servings, around 320 calories each, and surprisingly quick.
How quick?
Total time is about 40 minutes. Only 15 minutes of that is actual cooking. The rest is prep.
That's not bad at all for something that feels quite special. Okay, the base. Biscuit or sponge cake? Is there a right answer?
Huh. The eternal question. You basically have 2 main camps. You can go for a buttery, tender biscuit, which gives you that nice textural contrast, a bit of crumble against the cream. Or you can go for a light sponge cake, which makes the whole thing feel more unified, sort of soft and pillowy all the way through.
So personal preference then.
Pretty much. Neither is wrong. The crucial thing, though, is that the base isn't too dense or too dry. That would just kill the vibe with the light, bubbly Moscato.
Okay, got it.
So the ideal shortcake for this pairing, light, tender base, maybe just a hint of sweetness, really fresh, ripe strawberries that have been macerated, it's like, tossed with a little sugar to draw out the juices,
Yeah.
and softly whipped cream. Key point. Minimal competing flavors in the cream, no weird extracts or too much sugar. Let the strawberries and the wine do the talking.
Keep it simple. Quality ingredients. Got it. Are there any tricks to putting it all together for the best result?
Yes. This is critical, according to the sources. Assembly timing matters tremendously.
Okay.
You really want to build the shortcakes literally just moments before serving.
To avoid the dreaded sogginess.
Exactly. Avoid the sogginess, keep the textures distinct. The crispness of the biscuit or the lightness of the sponge, the juicy berries, the cool cream. That freshness is what makes it a showstopper alongside the Moscato. It ensures every bite feels vibrant. And what's really cool is when you break down how these elements align, it's not just luck. There's a real synergy happening. Looking at the flavor match table helps see why it works so well.
Yeah, let's get into that. It sounds like the details really show the harmony. How do the different parts play off each other?
Okay, so first, sweetness. You've got the natural sweetness from the berries, plus a little sugar, right? The Moscato meets that with its honeyed grape sweetness, but because it's balanced, it's not overwhelming. Then fruitiness. Bright, juicy strawberry versus the wine's peach, apricot, maybe some citrus notes. They complement, even amplify each other.
Okay. And texture. That seems important here.
Definitely. You have the tender cake, the juicy berries, the smooth cream, contrasted with the wine's silky texture and those gentle bubbles. It creates this really lovely mouthfeel.
What about acidity? You mentioned that helps keep the wine from being cloying.
Right. The berries provide a little mild tang, and the wine has this soft, balanced acidity that matches it perfectly. It keeps everything fresh, not flat.
And aromas.
Big part of it. You smell the fresh berries, maybe some vanilla or butter from the cake or biscuit, and then the wine brings in floral notes, honeysuckle, more stone fruit. It's like a whole bouquet.
Wow. Okay, and the finish, how does it wrap up?
The shortcake leaves you with that rich, creamy, lingering berry taste, and the Moscato comes in right after with a clean, refreshing, gently sweet finish. It cleans everything up nicely, ready for the next bite.
So when you're actually eating and drinking it, how does all that science translate? What's the experience?
The magic, really, is that synergy we talked about. Neither one dominates. The Moscato actually seems to make the strawberries taste more like strawberries, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And sometimes the shortcake can bring out subtle notes in the wine you might miss otherwise. Those bubbles are constantly refreshing your palate, cutting the richness. The fruitiness echoes between the plate and the glass. And the creaminess of the dessert just softens the wine's acidity beautifully. It's seamless.
So multiple things happening at once. Texture, fruit, sweetness, refreshment.
Exactly. Multiple sensory pleasure points, as one source put it. It's layered, but not complicated to enjoy.
Okay, we know why it works, which is fascinating. Now let's get practical. How do we make sure we nail this pairing when we serve it? Because it sounds like the how matters quite a bit.
Oh, it absolutely does. Presentation and the little details can really elevate it. Let's start with the wine temperature. This is crucial.
Okay.
It needs to be properly chilled, but not ice cold. If it's too cold, like straight from an icy freezer, you actually mute those lovely, delicate aromas we talked about.
Right, you lose the peach and the floral notes.
Exactly. So aim for around 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That keeps it refreshing, but lets the aromas come through. I've definitely made that mistake serving it way too cold, and you miss out.
Good tip. What about glassware? Does it matter for a frizzante wine like this?
It does help. A tulip-shaped wine glass is great, or even a wider coupe glass. They help concentrate those delicate smells and give the bubbles space to, do their thing.
Better than a standard flute.
Generally, yes. Flutes are fine, but they don't showcase the aromatics quite as well. And remember, the assembly timing for the shortcake no more than 5 minutes before serving, ideally.
Right, keep it fresh.
You could even do a deconstructed version. Put the biscuits, berries, and cream out separately and let guests build their own. People love that interactive element.
Oh, that's a fun idea for a party.
Yeah. And a little garnish mint leaves, maybe a tiny dusting of powdered sugar looks lovely. Oh, and for outdoor events, keep the components separate in a cooler until the last minute. Practical, but effective. And thinking bigger picture, this pairing isn't super rigid either. It's actually quite versatile. You can play around with variations that still work beautifully with the Moscato.
Ooh, okay. So if you want to riff on the classic a bit, what kind of twists work well without messing up that harmony?
Well, one really interesting idea from the sources is adding a tiny drizzle, and I mean a tiny of aged balsamic vinegar or glaze over the strawberries.
Balsamic.
Yes. Yeah, it sounds weird, but that little bit of tangy complexity can create a fascinating bridge to the wine's fruitiness. Just don't overdo it.
Okay, intriguing. What else?
You could swap the whipped cream for mascarpone cream, maybe with a bit of lemon zest mixed in for richness. Toss in some blackberries or raspberries with the strawberries for more berry depth.
Hmm,
Or infuse the whipped cream with something unexpected, like a hint of basil. Basil and strawberry is a surprisingly great combo.
I've heard that.
You could make little shortcake sliders for appetizers, or even lightly toast the biscuit or sponge cake base and brush it with a touch of honey that would echo the honey notes in the Moscato nicely. Lots of room to play.
It sounds like it. Okay, so Moscato d'Asti is clearly a fantastic partner here, and maybe even the perfect one for many. But what if you want to branch out? Or
Yeah.
maybe you just don't have Moscato on hand. Are there other wines that can work with strawberry shortcake?
Absolutely. The core ideas still apply. You want something with complementary sweetness and enough freshness, usually acidity or bubbles, so it doesn't just fall flat against the dessert.
Right, same principles.
Exactly. Prosecco is a great option. Look for one labeled extra dry. Now, counterintuitively, extra dry, Prosecco actually has a touch more sweetness than Brut.
Ah, okay. Good to know.
Yeah, its crisp apple and pear notes offer a different kind of fruity contrast, but it works really well.
Interesting. What about reds?
Hmm.
Or anything else a bit different?
For something really unique, there's Brachetto d'Acqui. It's another lightly sparkling wine from Piedmont, but it's red. It has these lovely strawberry and rose notes. Naturally goes well.
Oh, wow, a sparkling red. Cool.
Yeah. You could also go with a demi-sec champagne that means half dry, so it has the sweetness needed, plus more complexity. A German Cabinet Riesling is another classic choice, great acidity, often those lovely honeyed notes.
Riesling, okay.
A Rosé Cremant, that sparkling wine from France made outside Champagne, could work if you want something a bit drier, but still with red fruit character. And maybe even a late harvest Gewürztraminer, especially if your shortcake base had a hint of spice, like cardamom.
Lots of options to explore if you're feeling adventurous.
Definitely. And ultimately, pairing is personal, right? These are guidelines, but the best way to find what you love is just to try things out. Don't be afraid to experiment a bit.
That's great advice. So, wrapping this all up,
Yeah.
what's the big takeaway for you, our listener? Why get excited about this strawberry shortcake and Moscato d'Asti pairing specifically?
I think the main thing is that it's one of those rare pairings where everything just clicks. It's a perfect partnership, as one source called it. Each part genuinely makes the other part taste better.
Mm-hmm.
It works because it balances those complementary flavors, like the fruit and the sweetness, without anything competing. The wine lists the dessert highlights the wine, and it's pretty forgiving. It's reliable. You don't need to stress too much about getting it exactly perfect.
Yeah, it sounds like a winner for easy entertaining or just a nice treat for yourself. Low stress, high reward.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
delivers that delightful experience without demanding too much effort.
So maybe the next time you're looking for something that feels a little special, but also easy and just plain delicious.
Think about it. The freshness of those berries, the gentle sweetness and fizz of the wine, that lovely play between the bubbles and the cream. It creates this whole sensory thing that feels, I don't know, luxurious, but in a really uncomplicated way. So why not turn an ordinary evening into something a bit more memorable? Give it a try. Discover this really accessible indulgence for yourself and just see how that simple elegance holds up. It really does.